Hey everybody, I am back. It is your girl, the Crystal Alexis, and I got a guest with me today. I got tired of talking to the camera by myself, so I brought in Bestie to help me do this episode. Tip, what's up?
What up, girl? Oh,
Hey,
it
Tip.
feels like home, honey.
Ciao. So, this month is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so, actually, Tiffany does not know what this episode is about fully. I just told her I was doing an episode about mental health. So she has no clue what I'm going to be asking her or anything. She just didn't have time to prepare. So we're going to have some grace with her for that. However, I did want her to be on this episode because she's just been around and been able to bear witness to a lot of things that have happened in my life during this season of my life. So, yeah, I wanted some company on today, and I want somebody to talk back to me instead of talking to this camera. So, now last summer, this summer makes almost 2 years that I've been in Houston. Okay.
Oh,
And
congratulations. Wow. That's fast.
okay. So last year around June made a year that I was officially in Texas. You know, no family, no friends, no anything like that. And it was just starting to get to me a little bit. I noticed, I couldn't really settle my thoughts. I was being real restless and sleepless and was drinking literally a whole bottle of wine. And I know to a lot of people, a whole bottle of wine is not a lot, but when you're drinking a whole bottle of wine every night, and sometimes a bottle and a half every night,
wow,
that's an issue.
Yeah.
On top of that, I was taking melatonin and things like that to try to help me sleep or calm my nerves. I would go and start doing something and then get sidetracked and go do something else. Now, don't get it twisted. I've been living like this my whole life, 38.
Right.
So I've been like this. It was quite normal, except for it was just certain things I couldn't explain. Like I would actually want to go and get out the house. And I would actually think it's a good idea. You know, the times your homegirl asks you, girl, hey, let's go hang out. You be like, okay. I got me a fit. I got me a new wig. I got everything situated. I got anticipated this night. And then the night comes and I'm looking at the phone like, oh my gosh, could they please cancel?
Oh,
so the phone rings and I'm like, hello? Hello? Okay, we're still going cool.
It's always a good idea till it's not.
Okay. And so I was having moments like that. And Tiff, I remember you mentioned something to me about, as a matter of fact, before I moved to Houston, I had a really, really bad panic attack. I don't know if you remember, but I had a bad panic attack. I had come home from work and working a long weekend out of town. And Kai, my dog, my poodle, he had completely I left him in there for like 15 minutes. Came in, walked out, something, and he completely ruined the house. He had done went through the trash and ate up all my flowers. Yeah. And then because he ate up all my flowers and it was toxic for him, then he got sick. So then he threw up and crapped everywhere.
Oh my God.
And so I just had a major breakdown and I whooped him so bad. And then I accidentally in my whooping, accidentally hit him, I think with the belt buckle. And then I didn't know I hit him with the belt buckle. I just saw him started bleeding. Mm-hmm. And the blood, I have a history with seeing blood. And so me seeing blood just takes me somewhere else. Not a bad thing, but it makes me panic and have real bad anxiety. And so I remember, Tiff, I called you that night.
Man.
And I just I couldn't calm my breathing. I couldn't stop crying. I was sweating all over the place.
Bro, I was so scared for you. I
What
was
was going
scared
through
for
your
you.
mind when I called you?
I just didn't know how to react. I mean, I'm all the way in Kentucky, so like, how do you help your friend who is having a whole breakdown? You didn't have friends there for real. You don't have any family there, so
No,
like,
I was in Florida.
oh, you was in, oh, that's Florida time. Okay, okay, yeah, I definitely remember. So that was the first time that I had seen that, and I was I don't know. You started hyperventilating and
I
stuff,
definitely did. Yeah.
and I all I knew was to pray for you. But you was just like and like, and I was like, oh my gosh, and I was just sitting there, and I just stayed on the phone because I didn't want to hang up, because I've never seen that before, so I didn't know what was next. But I ain't want to have no conscience either if something happened. Like, at least I was there for her, not writing you off or anything, but it scared me to a point that I didn't know how to handle the situation at all. At all. So I just stayed on the phone.
Yeah, not to mention, I don't know how I called you or what I said. I know I was just hysterical. I know I was crying.
Yeah.
But I don't even know. I could just imagine, somebody calling me like that, not knowing what's going on. Like, I'm not sure what's your first thoughts of what had happened. But
I remember, Chris. I remember you had one pill left for anxiety or something like that. And so I think that's when you took it. You took it then.
No, what I took was I think a Ambien or.
Oh yeah.
So what happened? Okay.
Yeah, that was.
So what happened was I went in there. I had one anxiety. I had a Xanax, and it wasn't even mine. Okay, it was one that I had left over that somebody had given me just in case, And I had a Xanax, and I had an Ambien, I think.
Okay.
Or something. And I thought I took the Xanax to calm my anxiety, but really I took the Ambien. And it was just a bad panic attack. That was the first time. And so I said, okay, it was scary for me because I had never seen myself like that. Oh. I've had panic attacks before, but never to the point where I'm hyperventilating, can't calm my breathing, can't stop crying, can't stop sweating. I just literally went in there and beat my dog like crazy.
Where did Kai go after that? Like, after
I don't know. And so anyway, fast forward a year later, June, and I had been here a year, and I started noticing like different things, and anxiety starting to kind of rise back up, And like I said, I've always been super go, get it, do, busy, work. That's how I cope with any type of pain, stress, trauma. That's how I've always coped with it, which is not good. I just never addressed it. So this particular day that I called you while I was in Houston, I don't remember what happened. I just know you have been telling me like I was being mean to you, and I kept snapping at you for no reason. And I just knew I had a reason, And then we talked one day, and you was like, maybe you should see somebody about, I know what happened. The second incident where I was here, it wasn't a panic attack situation, but I had to have a psych evaluation when I got cast on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
And you came and you helped me do everything and got everything situated, and I got prepared to get ready to go to London for 2 months with Netflix. And you remember? And you came and you helped me get everything together.
I remember. Yeah.
And then I'll tell that story on a story time later. But and then they cut me. Now, I thought Netflix was my ticket. I thought, God moved me to Houston. I'm going to be on Netflix for 2 months. And this is it. This is my ticket. And then they cut me the day that they were due to call me for my flight information. And I was supposed to be flying out the following week. I got cut. And it did something to not only my self-esteem, like it did something to my confidence, it did something to my mental. And then a little bit after that is when you was like, yeah, you should probably maybe go see somebody.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't figure out why they cut me. And the only thing it could have been is something about my psychiatric evaluation did not come back, and they would not share those details with me. So I didn't know the details. Huh?
I said they wouldn't even share it with you and it's your information.
Period. So I didn't know the details of my psychiatric evaluation. And so you kind of urged me to go to counseling and see what was going on. What about, and I don't really remember, but like what about that day or that time period do you remember? Because you called out quite a few things and I was like, wow, that is kind of, you told me a few things and ways that I have been acting that kind of made me say, okay.
I thought I was a therapist.
But what did you notice about that time?
I just noticed it was like, you was real like, oh man, you was tough.
Like what does that mean?
Like, like you don't want to be bothered with nobody. Everything was short, like duh, Tiff. And that was a challenge for me because I'm like, what? I just asked, like, how did it feel outside? And you'll come with a smooth answer that'd be like, whoa, all right, check please, stuff like that. But seeing you like start a project and then you'll stop and then you be like on one place like around your house and then you'll go to another place, like you get up 100,000 times. Like it would just be like when we would hang out, it was a lot of those things and I just kind of noticed it. So that's why I was like, yo, like, and Netflix did mess you up for real. It didn't mess you up. I think it just brought whatever was inside of you out.
Yeah.
It was a huge trigger for whatever reason. It happened and it was by the grace of God that it happened at the end of the day, so but with the Netflix situation, I just know like when we talk about like stuff and we're venting, you have this rule about the
hold on, you're breaking up, so I need you to get your internet on. Hold on, you're breaking up. I need you to get your internet together. You said, so what I know is you have this rule that what now?
Is it working? Because you're not coming from my internet.
Yeah, it's working.
Oh my gosh, my internet works. So, nevertheless, my goodness. I was started. What was I saying?
You said something about I have this rule.
Oh yeah. So you have this rule, like when we're talking, or we're venting about something, you'll say, yo, we not about to stay on this long. Like we're not staying on this all day, right? So I had noticed like once that situation with Netflix happened, it was lasting longer than we not staying on this long. And that was a huge flag because it's like, yo, that cut something deeper in Chris than what she's really talking about. Oh, I got cut is one thing, but that could have triggered rejection. It could have triggered, you were so close and it just, I knew it wasn't gonna happen. Like everything's going on in your mind. And so for whatever reason that happened to you. But that was definitely one of the main things I noticed before I was like, yo,
Yeah. So I did find out that through Harris County that I could get services, counseling, behavioral therapy, psychiatry if I needed it, and I could get it at a reduced amount because at the time I wasn't working. So I did that and I ended up being able to get my services for free, which is a total blessing. Okay. Yeah.
For sure.
So, and let me just interject here. You know, a lot of times when we're looking for blessings, we tend to think that blessings come and monetarily, you know, that's the only thing we think of when we think about God blessing us and things like
Mm.
that. We think, okay, he's gonna open up the gates of heaven and pour out all this money and fill up our bank account and all this stuff. But a lot of times, blessings don't come through money. They can come through insight. They can come through resources. They can come through, you know, he gives you wisdom about something, gives you discernment about things. And people don't see those things as blessings, but they are, because they keep you from going down certain paths. So
Mm.
this was
Come on.
absolutely a blessing for me, because I needed this, and I definitely didn't have the money to pay for it. So on June 30th, 2021, I'm actually very proud to say that I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, specifically bipolar 1, which is, um, you know, first of all, a lot of people say, oh, bipolar, that means you got two different personalities. No, that's split personality disorder or schizophrenia, whichever one, you know. But I don't have any of those things. I'm bipolar, which means that your mood, you have a fluctuating mood. You know, a lot of people don't understand what bipolar really means, and they're ignorant to the facts of it. And because of that, I was so afraid. I felt terrible when I got diagnosed. I was not proud of it at all. Um, I felt ashamed. I was embarrassed. I didn't know how to tell people, or if I even should tell people. I didn't know how to talk about it, how to discuss it. I was even writing in my journal, and I couldn't write because I was crying so much every time I wrote the words. Well, I started today. I got, matter of fact, poetry right here. Today I was diagnosed with bipolar, and it was literally. This is all I wrote. This oh wait, this little piece right here. The rest of that is another day.
Wow.
All I wrote. And it says, yesterday I got diagnosed with having bipolar disorder. I can't even get through writing this without crying. I'll try again tomorrow. And I wrote this July 1st around 9 a.m. in my bedroom, prayer corner on the floor. I that that alone tells me so much. Like, I was in my prayer corner on the floor at 9 o'clock in the morning. And at the time I wasn't waking up at 5. I was waking up at like 10 or 11. So I was up early and I was on the floor in the corner, and I was really down. I wouldn't call it a dark place, but like I said, just embarrassed and not knowing what to do next. Like, I really felt like life as I knew it was over, because I'm not supposed to have a mental disorder. Like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a business owner. I am the Crystal Alexis. I am Plus Model MUA. I am Miss Iconic. I am the fitness makeup guru. I am the person who just ran a global business for 7 years very
Right.
successfully and averaged 6 figures every year. I'm the person that helps people that suffer
Yeah.
with these type of things. I'm not supposed to be having this. And that's how so many people feel, because they go their whole life. And I've literally been like I am. I've had this for my whole life. It was confirmed by my parents later on when I got up the courage to speak to them about it. I've been like this my whole life. I've just been undiagnosed. And see, us Black folk, okay, especially, we think it's so taboo and we don't want to talk about it, and we're going to sweep it under the rug because ain't nothing wrong with us. We just going to pray to the good Lord. Ain't nothing wrong with us. And I'm the first one to get on my face and pray. But when you pray and God gives you an answer, and me getting that psychological evaluation,
Okay.
was a answered prayer because I could not figure out. I didn't know who I was. I felt like I just don't know who I am because I'm doing these things. I don't mean to do it, but then after I do it, I feel bad. Now I'm crying because I done hurt somebody's feelings and I don't know what to do about it because now I gotta apologize for something I didn't even really mean to do in the first place. But why did I do it in the first place if I didn't want to do it? So you see where I was,
Oh yeah, I was about to stop you though, because you was going down that hole. You was about to come
and
back.
so it was one of those things where I just couldn't get a grip of myself. So um I cried for days and days and days and days. And after I got diagnosed, Tiff, you were the only person that I felt like I just remember how you helped me to push through the other, panic attack that I had back in Florida. And so that to me was like, okay, she can't help to calm me down in this moment. Let me call her because I really need to calm down before I have another panic attack. So I called you and I remember standing right here at this bar. I remember posting the phone up. I remember calling you on FaceTime. I remember my face was red. My eyes was puffy. I don't know if you remember this, but I was a mess when I called you. And even then you're like, what's wrong? And I remember I couldn't even get the words out then. Like, I was trying to tell you, you knew that I had seen the doctor,
Yeah.
the therapist. You knew that. I just never updated you about it. And so when I called you, do you have any recollection of this day when I actually did get diagnosed and I called you?
You were just crying. I remember that. Like, I was trying to, as you were talking, I was going back to that day in my memory, and like I just remember you. You were just crying, and when I did ask you what's wrong, and I believe you said that they diagnosed you, or you went, like, you told me kind of what took place in your therapy session briefly, and this said, and he diagnosed me with bipolar, and I have to go see a psychiatrist, and like, you just, I at that very point, my strong friend was not my strong friend. And I felt like, wow, like that was a moment, because like it's your identity, like it's different because you can't control it. And
Very much so, yeah.
yeah, like it don't just leave. It kind of, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just kind of something in your DNA that happened. But of course, the person that I am, we can't stay on that sadness long. And so trying to just talk to you and look on the bright side of stuff, and at least at least you knew what happened at Netflix. Now that's what they seen. And could you have did that opportunity with Netflix? Like, would it have worked if you was good, with all those things, all those factors? And that was tough, Chris. Like, that was tough. And I'm actually like really proud of you for having the courage to come on here and tell your truth, because that's different. That's levels. There's levels to this stuff, And so now you're talking about something that you can't even control,
Yeah.
like you can't even hide it. You might have a bullet wound in your shoulder, but you can put on a shirt and cover it. See, this bipolar, you can't cover it for real, because there's triggers that take place and it'll bring it out. So yeah, kudos to you, man, because that's courageous and that's tough. And I know that it's going to be a blessing to many people. And if they don't know that they have a bipolar disorder or any type of mental disorder, this should encourage them to seek help, additional and professional help, because it saves your life. For real.
Yeah.
And we still friends, because you button a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So I had that visit. June 30th, 2021 with a behavioral therapist. And he recommended that I see a psychiatrist, which a behavioral therapist is the one who works through your problems and talks to you and everything, gets everything out. Now, a psychiatrist, their job is to give you medication to they deal with the medication part. And so I'm like, wow, he's recommending me to a pretty much a specialist, and also recommending that I be medicated. So that to me was like, oh my gosh. And so my fear was, I've been like this my whole life. I don't want to be medicated and then have something change my personality. The thing with bipolar 1 is, for me, for a lot of people that have bipolar, theirs shows its ugly head in depressive states. So the best I can say is, here's your normal mood. Okay. People that bipolar are never here. You're either up here or you're down here. And it goes like this all the time. Okay. It's hardly ever all the way one way or all the way the other way. So for me, this is your normal state, and I'm always manic, which means I'm always hyper. I'm always over vigilant. I'm always doing something. I always have to be up, doing something, which is so my personality anyway. But there's part of my personality that is attributed to the bipolar, and it is a chemical imbalance in my brain. There is nothing that I can do about it physically outside of be medicated to stop my brain from doing it. And what happens is, I'm more manic than depressive. And so even on my normal days, because I'm always like this up here, so even on my normal days, I seem to other people like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? Like, I seem depressed to other people because they always see me up here, manic. Now, when I'm really just having a normal day. And so what happened was, with bipolar is, you have, with mine, I have all these thoughts and they pop into my brain. They're just random thoughts and they come whenever they want to, because I forgot the technical word for it, but the chemical or whatever that regulates your thoughts and says, oh, you're thinking about coffee? That goes over here with the early morning breakfast thoughts. Oh, you're thinking about a dog? That goes over here in your personal life thoughts. Oh, you're thinking about sex? That goes over here in your relational thoughts. My thoughts come like this: dog, brown, sex, work, plants, history, family, worry, more plants, flowers, tomorrow, yesterday, next year, 5 years, yesterday again, today, tomorrow. So it's all these things, and my brain cannot figure out where to categorize these thoughts. So they literally just come at me however they come, and I have no way to organize them. Now that's super funny because I'm an organized person. And so when I thought and I started looking up, the different causes, signs, symptoms, and things like that, I said, okay, this is, yeah, because I can literally be doing one thing. I can be in there vacuuming, mid vacuum, stop the vacuum, go in the bedroom. 2 hours later, what? I'm still in the bedroom, and then I walk out the bedroom like, oh my God, I forgot I was vacuuming. Oh, you know what I mean? Yeah. Or I'll start a project. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I will start a business and an LLC in a minute. And I'll do it all within a few days. I'll set up an LLC, an EIN, Dun and Bradstreet. I'll do a website, do a logo,
Right.
have Instagram, Facebook, social media, a Google phone number, and all within 3 days.
That's
Can
ridiculous.
y'all imagine how draining it is to constantly have your brain working on overload and never be able to organize your thoughts, never be able to shut your brain down, never be able to say, hey, shh, 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 shh. I was averaging 3 hours of sleep every night, and I've been doing this for 10 years.
Oh my goodness.
And so I've gone to the doctor before to tell them, hey, I can't sleep. I'm having these issues. I'm up all the time. They said, we're not going to give you nothing to help you sleep. That's just the way you are. That's how you conditioned your body. So that's just the way you are. It's normal for you. 3 hours of sleep is not normal for anybody. I don't care what you've been diagnosed with. It's not normal. And so I looked into it, and then, the flip side is they say people that are bipolar are oh, you have these thoughts about God and supernatural things, and you're always, thinking you're on a mission for God. That is one of the signs
Oh my goodness.
of bipolar.
Are you serious?
However, it's also a sign
Yeah.
of you being either in the office of a prophet or operating in your prophetic gifts. So you have the world and culture who is telling you, you got a mental disorder, you crazy, something wrong with you, you bipolar. And then you have your spirituality, and you have your higher power. I call him God. I don't know who yours is, but mine is God. Then you have him saying, that's just a gift. So you have this dynamic of a gift and a curse. And you have to figure out how to operate and how to function within both of these realms, within the spiritual realm and within the natural. And for me, there are people out there who are probably a little crazy and suffering from mental illness, and the mental illness has taken over them. And so they might think they talking to spirits, and they might think they on a mission from God, and they might think all these things. But there are also ones of us who are very serious about their walk. And I know, my disorder, I don't like to call it an illness. I'm not sick. I'm perfectly fine. It's not a disability for me, but I will say it's a disorder. Um, because my brain is out of order, my chemicals and my body is out of order. So it has not taken over me. So when I was diagnosed with the bipolar, I was also diagnosed with severe anxiety as well as mild depression. And usually one, two, or three of those leads to other things like drug use, schizophrenia, all type of other things. I've seen people that suffer from tics and outbursts and Tourette's and just super, super extreme moods. And I have some very extreme mood swings. Tiff, you can attest to this. My mood swings are bananas. But part of that is that's who God made me. It really is. And it just so happens that in culture, it's called being bipolar. And I'm manic bipolar. So I can't sit too long in one spot. I can't COVID took me out. Having to sit in the house and do nothing and go nowhere and took me out. So, but I say that to say a lot of people feel like their world is just over and life is over as they know it when they are diagnosed with having these mental illnesses, when in fact it's just the way we were created. It's just in our it's in our DNA. It's a part of who God created us to be. Now, does God go around giving people diseases and things like that? No, that's not who in his character. That's not who he is. However, when these things happen for whatever reason, you know, he also, I know y'all heard that saying, God will turn things around, that the enemy went for bad and make you for good. So in the same time that he said, okay, you're bipolar a little bit, you are living with mental illness, that was not for me to down myself or lowball myself or feel like I can't. That was actually a confidence boost. Like, I ran a company, a global business for 7 years successfully and made over 6 figures with this condition, with my thoughts all over the place, with, everything else that was going on. Like, so God is using those things to show me, like, regardless what you suffer from or living with, regardless of your illness, disorder, whatever, those things are not to tear you down. They're actually to help boost your confidence and for you to understand, like, wow, if I could do this with this going on, if I could do this with bipolar, if I could do this with depression, anxiety, that's a lot, y'all. I should have been crazy. I should have been lost my mind. I should have been on somebody's corner. I should have been out on the streets, and God has kept me through it all. He kept me through it all. And I am just like super, super thankful for him for that. And so to get into how I moved forward. So I did end up getting the medication, even though I've had to take it maybe once or twice when I felt myself getting ready to have a panic attack, but I haven't even taken it. And Tiff, I remember telling you, like, I don't want to take that because if I take it, that really, really means I'm crazy for real. So I was still in denial for a while, with the whole everything. And especially since mine happened in cycles, like I said, I do not suffer from psychosis or schizophrenia or multiple personality disorder, which are all very, very common spin-offs of having bipolar. But I don't suffer from any of those, thank the Lord, So, but I do have, just the I've never been suicidal. I've never wanted to kill myself ever. I'll go without, I'll be hungry and everything else, but I ain't gonna die for it. No. The thing that I did tell to my behavioral therapist as well as my psychiatrist is that at the time I was smoking weed. And so the weed helped me to calm those thoughts. It really did. But what was happening is I would be manic and then the weed would bring me all the way down. And then I'd be manic and then the weed would bring me all the way down. So I was always fatigued, always tired, just drained from thinking. I'm one of those people, I don't like too much going on around me. I don't like too much noise, just and it's because I have noise already in my brain.
Oh, okay.
Noise going on already. And so your added noise is just making me crazy. So I don't want to hear the TV and the radio and you listening to something on your phone, because to me, those are just voices, extra voices added to the thoughts I already have. And so for me, it literally scrambles my brain. Like, it makes me, I can't even describe, like running around, like I'll be around people's house or around people and they got all the kids running around, stuff like that. Like, it drives me crazy. I'm like, you don't hear that? They like, hear what? I'm like, your kids yelling at the top of their lungs. Like, they're like, oh, I just ignore it. Yeah. And I'm like, ignore it? How? But for me, it's harder to ignore things because I already have thoughts swirling around at all times. And, bipolar is it's a lifelong thing. The only thing you can do about it is to medicate. I actually haven't been medicating. I've actually been just recognizing the signs and symptoms and doing deep breathing, taking preventative measures to relax. If I feel myself getting overwhelmed for something or about something, I will step away from it instead of sit there for hours and hours like a madman, like I gotta figure this out, because that's how I do. So I've just been stepping away. I found other things I love, horticulture. And so I've gotten into, plants and propagating and, I love orchids and rare, exclusive things. So I've gotten a couple of rare orchids and I just get all kind of joy in sitting, watching them die and come back to life and die and come back to life. So I found things to do that I can kind of not necessarily control, but I can lower the anxiety. I can reduce this. I like holistic things, meaning I like things from the earth. I like natural things. I don't like to have to take medicine. I don't like taking pills. I don't like being medicated. I don't like being altered in that kind of way. And so have you noticed the difference, Tiff, between then and now at all? And you're gonna be honest.
You're a lot calmer now.
Okay.
Yeah, you're more like, all right, like things that trigger you or hit hard, like you'll notice your mood change, but other stuff just kind of just rolls off your shoulder, like you actually been practicing. And I guess like you said, you notice when it comes and then you do something to relax. And so I believe that's starting to show in your everyday life for real.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Man, I do have triggers, and I think too that's very important for people who are living with mental illness is to recognize what those triggers are and stay far away from them. Okay. And so one of my triggers is my mom. I love her dearly. I love her with almost everything in me. Because she had to split that with my daddy. So, but my mom she'll fly off quick. And I'm outspoken and will speak my mind, so I get it honestly. But my mom will fly off the rail and she'll stay on something literally for years. And for me, I had to realize that's and there are other things too. My discernment is just on high. I am an empath, and people will say whatever they want to say about that, but I'm a real empath. I feel people's energy, their spirits, their vibes. I feel when things are not right with them, regardless of what they say out their mouth. I feel when things are going on with people. I feel these things. And so for my mom, because I came out of her womb, really I'm very, very connected. Yeah, I really feel it, and people always doing something to her. And I always be in my feelings. And I'll be telling her like, Mom, are you trying to send me to jail? Is that what you want? Do you want me to go to prison? Well, stop getting into it with these people. Like, mind your business. You got to stay in your body. I be treating her like she my child because sometimes.
Roles reverse after a while, certain age.
Girl, she's older. My mom's almost 70. I love her to death. Little itty bitty self. Mm-hmm. But I be having to tell her like, Mom, you really have to like calm down if you don't want me flying off the edge, because this has the potential to make me fly off the edge. I don't like nobody messing with you. So after I express those things to her, she'll still fly off. I'll be like, Mom, please, Mom, please. And she won't say nothing. She'll just get quiet. Then the subject will change. You know who I seen the other day? I'll be like, thank you, Lord. But as far as telling my parents, I was even scared to tell them, because when my parents found out, when my skin started changing with the vitiligo, and the more they became knowledgeable about vitiligo, until this is probably very familiar to you as well. You've had it for longer than me.
Yeah, I got
So so you've dealt with this much longer. But me, I had to explain to my parents what vitiligo was.
okay.
And I'm sure your parents probably had to explain to you
Correct.
because you were a child.
Yep.
I got it when I was 30. And so my parents just didn't take it very well. Both of them were just in a state of, I don't know. Well, my mom was worse. My dad kept saying, like, I don't know how you got this. I don't know where it come from. I don't know how this happened. My mom was also saying the same thing.
What, they blame themselves?
My mom blamed herself. She don't know what she did to make my skin like this. Like, what happened? They even got into, like, when I went overseas, like, what happened overseas, because I travel a lot. What happened overseas? Did something happen that made my skin? I'm like,
like
yo,
the or something kind of hit your skin. I know how that could happen.
I don't. Okay. And so I'm telling them, no, it's nothing you did. Like, even we went back through, as far as we could. There's no history of it in my family or anything like that. But yet again, here we are. I'm just one of those kids in my family. I got a lot of things that none of my family got. Some would consider good, some would consider bad. I consider it all a blessing from God, because it makes me who I am. It makes me very unique in my personality and in my character. And so both of my parents they're 2 years apart. Both of them, I think, and my dad's 70, my mom's 68. And I just didn't want to give them another reason to blame themselves, or another reason to look at me like, oh my gosh, something else, because
you waited you didn't want to tell them because you didn't want them to have guilt.
Yeah, that's correct. I didn't want them.
Guilt. So hold on, but you didn't tell them, and they could have possibly helped you. Well, like, it took you a longer period to tell them, and they could have possibly helped you sooner, but instead you suffered in silence.
Not really. I mean, yes, but no. And I said not really because I didn't want to. I told them as soon as I was able to. I wanted to tell them in person.
Okay.
I didn't want to tell them over the phone. And so as soon as I was able to see them in person, because I'm in Texas and now they're in Florida. So my next trip is when I actually told them. Oh, were you there?
Oh, yeah, come on. No, not when. I don't think when you told Pops. I don't.
But my mom.
Yeah, but hold on. Be real, Chris. You said, okay, I want to see them as soon as, I get there. I want to tell them. Come on. How long it take you to tell Pops? Like, because you, for real, Chris, like, it wasn't like, hey, Dad, guess what? It was literally hours.
No, but you're saying hours as if it was like weeks. You have to understand, like, something like that, you don't just come out and be like, hey, Dad, That's not Crystal. That may be Tiffany. No, I know it ain't. No. It's not.
No.
No. So don't say I took forever. I told them as soon as I was able to tell them. I didn't really wait. I was very hesitant. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, how do you even bring this up? And so the way I brought it up to my dad and I told him first, might have been before you got there. Mm-hmm. And I said, hey, Dad, I went and I just been having these mood swings. I don't know what's been going on with me. I can't focus. I can't sleep. I've been having anxiety. And so I decided to go and see a therapist. And I was like, I tried to make it a joke. I was like, they diagnosed you bipolar. And he was like, at first, and kind of pissed me off because he was like, oh, well, if you're bipolar because you don't sleep, I guess everybody's bipolar. Let me see, I guess, am I bipolar? And then he got on his phone because me and my dad, we got this thing. We don't trust nobody, but nobody say, we gonna figure it out on our own. So he gets on his phone and he's like, let me look this up. And she's reading off the symptoms, and he was like, "Yep, I done had that before. Well, I mean, am I bipolar too?" And I said, "Well, Dad, you might be."
Changed it. So that shifted the energy, huh?
It did. And he said, "Well, you know, I mean, I take medication for depression, but I don't feel like I'm bipolar." And I'm like, yeah, that's a part of it. I said, they diagnosed me with mild depression as well, and then he went into telling me the story. And you have to understand the relationship between me and my dad is kind of a what's understood doesn't need to be spoken type thing. We have such a bond, but it's an unspoken bond. Like there's not a lot of things we may talk about verbally, but if you see us together and you see how we interact and you see how we treat each other and how we talk to each other and how we play, you'll see the love between us and you'll see the bond that we have. You may not always hear the words, but you're gonna see it if you have interaction with me and my dad. And so it was a moment for me that I don't have a dad that have always given me hugs, neither one of my parents, or say you're beautiful or encourage me. We've always had what we've needed. We've always pretty much had everything we wanted, but we never had that extra like coddling as kids, and we're girls. They have all girls, they don't have no boys. And so we need that, especially me being my dad's youngest. I'm a daddy's girl and I needed that extra from him. And so this was my chance to be a daddy's girl and to be, kind of
vulnerable,
nurtured, and vulnerable with my dad. And I didn't know what was gonna happen. I thought that I was just gonna be a ball of tears. And I was fighting, boy. I was fighting them tears because I just wanted to hug him and be like, "Daddy,"
right, like a baby.
But I didn't because he was being strong as he does, and I was being strong too. But he went into his cabinet and he was like, "Yeah, I take these pills." I said, "Dad, I never knew you take pills for depression. I know that you be depressed because I can just tell when I speak to him that something is wrong." And he's never used the word depression or depressed, but I know that that's what that is, So we talk, we chit chat, and he say, you just, do what you need to do and get the help that you need and get through it. And I said, "But Daddy, they trying to make me take medicine and I don't want to take medicine." He said, "No, don't take no medicine if you don't have to, but if you need it, then take it. I'm on medicine, because I need it. So if you need it, then take it." And with my mom, you were there. I may or may not have even told you that I was going to say it. I just casually, because I got tired of beating around the bush. And I was like, "Yeah, Mom, so I got diagnosed with bipolar," literally.
And she looked at me.
She looked at you?
I think she did, like, talking to me like, like, what's wrong with her?
You were sitting on the couch.
Yeah,
Mom was kind of in between, and I was in the kitchen.
What's wrong?
And she said something funny in classic my mama mode.
Yeah.
And it really, really helped because it lightened the mood. Here I thought this was going to be some sad, super sad crying occasion. And I think the fact that I told my dad, because I knew with my dad, it might have been more difficult for me, not for him. With my mom, I felt like it was going to be more difficult for her as opposed to my dad. So I kind of did it strategically. I told my dad first, get that out the way. And I know my mom, she kind of makes light of things. That's just what she does. And so she made light of it. We joked and we laughed about it. And she asked me a few questions. I don't remember exactly what, but I also told her, they want to give me medication. She did not want me to take the medication. She said, no, if I don't even think she gave me an option. I think she was just like, "Yes, you don't want me to do that." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't want to take it either." And I asked her, I remember asking her, like, "I always been like this, right?" You know, like
Now
the
you want to know
thing,
your medical history.
huh?
I said, now you want to know your medical history.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I'm getting diagnosed with stuff and stuff. So I was like, I've always been like this, right? And she like, mm-hmm. Yep. You
Yeah.
know, like I've always been go, go, go. I've always been up and down, not my mood, but me physically. I'll sit down, get up, sit down, get up, sit down, get up, do something, get up, do something, get up. Ow, ow,
Get up,
ow.
get up, get up.
So, why are you telling us this, Crystal? I am telling you guys all of this because I just really want you guys to know that you're so special, you're so unique, and you're so intentional. God was so intentional when He created you. And even though you may have things that you may be suffering from or living with, if you're not one of the ones who consider yourself as suffering, you may have things that you're living with that don't necessarily seem normal, or
Yeah.
they don't, you can't trace it back. It's not hereditary. Nobody in your family has this. People think you're crazy. Oh, that's what my mama said. She's like, so you got different personalities? I knew something. I think she said something like, I knew something. I was like, Mom, that is not what that means. I said, well, what it mean then? So I broke it down to her and I explained, and I took it as an opportunity to advocate and to advocate and educate her about the disorder. And I said, so, and I think I gave her a disclaimer then, so sometimes I just be me in a moment. So if I have those times, just don't hold it against me. It's just, but back to you guys, never ever feel so shamed and so embarrassed that you go through it alone. That's the worst thing that you can ever do, because when you do have these mental illnesses, there are other things in the spiritual realm. The enemy will try to use those things and use your own thoughts to attack your own mind. He will do that. He's very clever, but yet he's stupid at the same time. He don't have no new tricks. He used the same things over and over and over and over. And so for me, it was the insecurities that I didn't know I had. It was the rejection and the trauma that I didn't know I was suffering from. And it just needed to come up and out, and then say, okay, this is how you deal with this. This is how you manage these things. Can I control it? No. Can you control it? No. But you can manage it. Okay. And so I'm telling you guys this to help you to understand that you're not abnormal. You're actually quite normal. Normal people go through these things all the time. Tip, I don't know if you have any experiences with mental illness with yourself or even someone that you know. If you want to share anything quickly about that, like, feel free.
Oh, it's not. Well, yeah, I don't really have. I just realized that my big brother has a mental illness, but with the family dynamic, I don't know what it is that he has. It's kind of swept under the rug. You don't really talk about that because that make you look kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I just want to caveat off of what you said, like how you were telling the audience, don't let this define you, you define it. And one thing that I learned, like as I went through, because of course we're both unique, and so the outer appearance is obvious versus the inner appearance, but I believe this could go for both ways. And so this preacher once told me, he says, Tiffany, your misery will be your ministry. So that very thing that was supposed to take you out is really gonna bless you, and you're gonna use it to bless others. And so I think you should look at this as an opportunity. God only gives his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers. So if you're not strong, and you ain't getting no type of battle, so you need to check yourself. Come on, muscle, work, push out, and so with that being said, I definitely, I really do commend you, because why now? Like, why would you do this now? Because I seen you in the place where you were like ashamed of this. Like, you didn't want people to know, like, this is going Chris, this is about to make people talk about you. And so now you're being vulnerable in a situation and it's going to bless somebody. So you know what I'm saying? Is God will get the glory out of this. So don't you even worry, but you had to step yourself out there because there are some people that they can't do that right now. And
Yeah, yeah. I get it. And I appreciate it so much. And as you're talking, like I'm almost being brought to tears because y'all, I'm such a crybaby. If y'all ain't figured this out by now, I cry a lot. Okay, I don't just cry every day because I ain't got no reason to, but I cry because I feel people. And I remember calling you and saying, Tiff, I just wanted to thank you for the I Am Great movement because I never knew that I had a disorder such as bipolar. And I thought, yeah, I'm good, being a little bit self-righteous, but not knowing it. I thought I was good. I'm regular. I'm normal. I don't have that, Like I said, I help people that suffer from that. I don't suffer from it. And I remember calling you and telling you that I had to tell myself that even with this, I am great. That even though I have this skin, I am great. Even though my brain is doing things that I can't explain and I can't control, I am still great. And I remember calling you, I don't know how much time went by, and saying, I just want to thank you for that movement because I really understand now what it means for people to declare that I am great. I understand what it means for you to instill that into people and to impart that into people that I am great. And I always knew you had a great movement because it's such a great message in it. However, I think I took it for granted a little bit, because it's such a simple mantra. And I say simple, not being disrespectful, but it's something we take for granted. It's something very simple that people say all the time with stuff, but they don't really say it with intention and say it with conviction. And you do that with your movement. And I just remember, I don't even know what happened. I don't know if I put on a shirt or if something happened and I said, I have to call her and let her know this. And I remember being in tears just like I am now and telling you how grateful that I was and still am for your movement and for you just reiterating what God already put in us in the first place. Because so many times we forget about that. We tend to focus on our lack, what we don't have, what we are lacking, as opposed to focusing on the abundance that we do have. Yeah, I lack certain chemicals in my brain, you know what I'm saying? And it makes me function all over the place. But at the same time, look at how much I was able to accomplish. Look at how much more I have yet still to accomplish. Look at the fact that I thought that my parents were not going to accept me anymore after that. And that was so heartbreaking for me because my parents have been the only people that have really, truly accepted me for who I am. They've been the only people who have not shunned me for being who I was. They've never judged me or made me feel any certain type of way. And people might say, yeah, that's because they're your parents. They're supposed to. But how many people's parents call them stupid every day?
Yeah.
How many people's parents tell them that they ain't never gonna be nothing every single day? How many people, how many children are out there having to fend for themselves and raise themselves and figure this thing out every single day? And my parents sacrificed so much so that I would never have to do that. And so for that, I am just forever grateful for them. And there's nothing that I could ever do to repay them for that. And so the thought and the idea of the two people that I know have never turned their backs on me, potentially turning their backs on me, it crushed me. It crushed my spirit. It broke my heart. And I just could not fathom them just turning their backs on me or judging me for something that I couldn't even control. In addition to the fact that I didn't want them to judge themselves.
Yeah.
And so that was it for me. And then I think I just came back alive again after speaking to them and after them being like, girl, that's it.
Oh, so you
got bipolar? Okay.
Swag back after you talk to your parents?
Huh?
I said, you telling me you got your swag back after you talk to your parents? Like you got your swag back, your confidence.
I did.
Look at that. And
you know,
yeah,
and I did a complete 180, a complete turnaround from the way I was feeling emotionally that had the potential to damage me and cause me to go insane if I didn't have somebody to talk to about it. And so that's the thing that I think people get misconstrued is it's not the disorder, it's not the sickness, the illness, it's not the mental illness that is causing you to go crazy. It's the fact that you're internalizing everything about this mental illness that is causing you to go crazy because you think you have nobody to talk to. You think that people are going to judge you and crucify you and persecute you for having this mental illness when all I had to do was just tell them. And it freed me. It freed such a weight off of me. And it's like, oh, my parents accept me, so who are you to judge me? I don't even care what you think. My mom and daddy love me.
Oh.
So
mom and daddy love you. That's all that matters.
Your thoughts are irrelevant. And so I just want to encourage somebody out there today, whether you feel like you're suffering, whether you feel like you're living with it so you're okay. Either way, both circumstances is very, very dangerous for your mental health, for you to go through this alone. And I encourage you that, even if you don't feel like you're ready to tell your parents, your spouse, your kids, find someone that you trust. And if you have no one, and I felt like I had no one, find a therapist, talk to them. They're completely unbiased. They're not going to judge you. They don't know you from a can of paint. And so just find if you can't find somebody to talk to, you don't trust nobody, write it in your journal. Record it on an audio. I'm telling you, it's going to trigger some things and you're not going to like it because it's going to open you up. It's going to open your emotions up and it's going to make you feel vulnerable and helpless and maybe even worthless. But I'm telling you that your comeback is going to be amazing because you, like Tiff said, you're going to get your fight back. You're going to get your strength back. You're going to get your confidence back. And I feel it coming right now in the spirit realm. Somebody right now, I feel God on this. Somebody right now, you're getting your confidence back. Somebody right now, you're getting up the strength. You're building up the fortitude to be able to go and to share your story with people. Even if it ain't nobody but the bum on the corner, God is building you right now. Holy Spirit, I thank you in the name of Jesus, God, for your children out there who are suffering silently, oh God. Lord, we thank you for them inside and outside, God, how you made them. You made them and you were intentional when you created them. Every single being of their fiber of their being, oh God, every single morsel of their character, every single thing that you have weaved into their personality and into their DNA, you did it knowing one thing, that you still had a purpose for them, Lord, and you created them in spite of. Lord, you knew exactly that they were going to be going through what they're going through. You knew exactly that they were going to be suffering with this mental illness. You knew exactly that they were going to be judged, God, and you still love them in spite of, Lord, because not because of who we are, but because of who you are, God. You're a good Father, God. You're a good Father, God. And I can't say it a million times. If I had 10,000 tongues, Lord, I would not be able to thank you enough. But Lord, I thank you for every person, every being, every soul represented here on this feed, God. Whether they're looking at it now or in the future, God, you will still be with them in that moment because you're a right now, God. You do not live in time. You are time, Lord. And so you step into time and you address our situations for us, Father God. And so we just give you all the reverence for being omniscient, for being omnipresent, God. Oh, Lord, we thank you and we understand that you are so sovereign, God. You are so sovereign that you don't have to bring us through nothing. You don't have to take us through nothing. You don't have to bless us with nothing. You don't have to answer none of our prayers, and you will still be God. But Lord, because of that, and you do it anyway, God, that's what makes you so great. Not because of what you do, God, but because of who you are, Lord. And regardless of what we go through from our day-to-day lives, regardless of what the culture says about us, regardless of what society, the doctors say about us, Lord, you can turn this thing around, Lord. Help somebody out there to find their tribe. Bring someone to someone, Lord, to check on them, whether it's they strong friends, they weak friends, they sometimey friends, they Aggie friends. Lord, send somebody into their lives, Lord, that is going to be there to support them through their times of need, Lord. You know exactly what your children need. You know exactly where they are at their lives. So right now, God, meet them at their place of need, Father, and we declare and we decree on today that it is so in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Ooh. My God. My God. Y'all are going to be all right. We going to be all right. Okay? We going to be all right. So y'all, this is in observance and in honor of Mental Health Awareness Month. Keyword awareness. We're bringing awareness. Okay? People are healed and saved not only through the blood of the Lamb, Jesus Christ, but by the word of our testimony. People are going to be saved and healed from my testimony. People are going to be saved and healed from your testimony. Don't allow your pain to be in vain. Give it purpose. Okay? Forgive yourselves, because I know sometimes we blame ourselves. God, what did I do to deserve this? You're asking the wrong questions. Don't ask, what did you do to deserve this? But ask God, what's on the other side of this that you taking me through this? That's so great that I got to go through so much pain. You got to start asking the right questions, okay? Y'all, listen, I absolutely love y'all with the love of God. I will continue to pray and uplift each and every one of y'all. I know y'all are going to do great things. Y'all are going to beat this thing, okay? It doesn't have to be a giant in your life. It doesn't. You're the giant. You're the giant. So these troubles, these little obstacles, these little tests and trials, small things to a giant, man. Small things to a giant. Tiff, you got any last words? We got about 60 seconds left.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all be great.
We love you, Tiff. We love the I Am Great movement. So thank you again for accompanying me on this message. It's always good. So, all right, y'all. The Crystal Alexis.